gotta get swifty. You gotta get swifty in here.
So the next section is holding your baby. Okay, just looking at the dad pad that I was given for information for this. Oh, hello Tommy. So he might make a fuss, he might not. We'll see how he goes. It is his bedtime, so hence why he is sleeping. So yeah, the dad pad even says it's natural to feel nervous about handling a newborn, especially if you've never handled a baby before. It had been years since I handled a baby, until a month before he arrived. We went to visit a friend's newborn, and I was petrified, absolutely terrified to hold, and I got put under pressure by the missus to go for it, hold it, and they put her in my arms and I didn't move. Funny story, my dad with me, he was reading his paper, he had his legs crossed. The doctor come out, went, Mr. O'Hara, put his paper down. Congratulations, you had a little boy. Plonked me on him and he was sat there. Doctor just walked off. And my dad didn't move. His leg was still crossed. Started getting obviously a dead leg. His arm started to get dead. He just didn't have a clue. That's why I think this is a good idea to sort of just quickly go through, because it is one of them things that I know is nerve-wracking. Some new parents worry that they'll hurt their baby because they look so fragile. But don't let this stop you from picking your baby up or holding them. Absolutely right. When he was born and he's in his sort of incubator type thing, which is really warm. It's got like a warm air coming through. It's lovely. Anyway, and they're saying to me like about clothing him. Something we'll discuss another time. But you don't need to be so fragile with him. He's been cramped up in her belly, in her womb. You know, confined to a ball as such. You know, don't just like moving them all slowly and stuff. Don't worry about it. Just remember, the more you hold your baby, the more you'll get used to it, and the more they will get used to it. And in no time at all, it'll feel really natural for both of you. Absolutely, 100%. I went from so scared of holding a baby, look at me now, to so confident. Now, I was looking up, you know, before he came, so I'd know how do I hold a baby? And I was even debating buying a toy baby just to practice my lifting him up and holding him, because people so overcomplicated it. There was some guy I watched on YouTube, and he's saying, oh, you've got to do this and you can hold them up on your arm and have them this, the different positions. There is no certain positions you have them in. All you need to know, okay? Young babies have a heavy head and weak neck muscles which aren't strong enough to hold their head up or keep it still. That's fine. You know, they can't do what we do with our heads. And it is quite heavy. It's a heavy head. So whenever you pick your baby up or hold them, you need to support their head and neck at all times. So as long as it doesn't matter what you're doing, you can hold him like that. As long as you're supporting that neck. I've just turned him round. Look, I'm moving him. He's comfy. He's sleeping, isn't he? Yeah? And you can put him sort of up here against you. Just let him, there you go. He's sleeping, so I don't need to, as long as you sort of just support in the back of his neck. Don't let his neck go anywhere. I sit him up, sort of like when we're on the sofa in my lap, I have him on my lap, and I've just got a cup in the back of his head, and he falls asleep. There's no specific way of holding your baby. Don't feel like there is, that you have to hold him. The midwife told me you need to have your arms this way. No, lift your arm more up here. And I'm going, and it made me panic. I'm going, am I holding them right? Am I doing it right? And then when I was home and got the confidence with lifting them up, and I thought, he's fine. You don't. I don't need to be fragile with him. Well, to an extent. As long as I'm supporting his neck, absolutely fine. So one of the things you'll notice a couple of areas on your baby's head that seems to be lacking bone protection, and these are called soft spots. These are called soft spots, completely normal gaps in a newborn baby's skull. They allow your baby's brain to grow rapidly throughout the next year. Many parents are afraid to touch these spots. The soft spot mainly is just on the front of his head. It's just here. That's a soft spot there. And don't be freaked out when you see it pulsating. I've caught it on him. Seen it, where you can see it's sort of just pulsing there, and it's a little bit creepy. But like I said, it's just your baby's head's so soft. That's why it's so important to hold his neck, support it. Don't let him, if you put him down somewhere, don't just let his head drop. Just place it, move nice and gentle movements. But not, like I said, not too fragile. Don't worry. Don't panic. Many parents are afraid to touch these soft spots, but you can rest assured that they are well protected from gentle day-to-day baby handling. Okay? So your first time, I've already told you about my first time. I think, maybe not. No, I was just talking about when he was in his little incubator, didn't I? So as you pick your baby up, slide one hand under their head and the other under their bottom, and settle your baby so that their head is rested in the crook of your arm, supporting the underneath of their body with your free arm. Okay, that sounds like a lot, and the midwife will tell you how you need to have your arms, and they'll put your child into your arms anyway. But for sort of showing you how, he's asleep anyway. So I'll just bring it around. Sorry, because he's already in an awkward position. It doesn't need to be like this. But it's like that. His head's in the crook of my arm, and I know it's to your other arm, but even so, I've fully got him or his weight. There's no need to panic there. And I'll just move him back up now, just because he was comfy. It's his bedtime. We're gonna take him to bed. A moment. Bless him. Bless little dummy. But that was it. It looks like there is actually a quote in the dad pad. Shh. Oh, bless him. Ooh. I know. I've been using you for experimental purposes. I'm sorry. He stayed good as gold, doesn't he? As you pick so my daughter looked so fragile, and I was not used to babies. Handling her at first was terrifying. Keep the head supported and hold your baby securely. If you feel confident, they will too. And that's by a guy called Shane, first time dad apparently. But I've already given you my experience anyway. Told you my experience. So we'll leave it there. Any questions, any more queries? You know what to do. Comment below.